OneFaith. Where did OneFaith come from? OneFaith started about 5 years ago in my closet, which is funny. So one night I was asleep and the Lord woke me up, and I had a dream. Well, let me backtrack.
I had a dream one night.
I had a dream one night back in 2020. What I saw in the dream was something that I was trying to figure out on my own. But I prayed about it, fasted about it, and the Lord started to show me exactly what I was seeing. I saw it was just darkness. It was just pitch black. But there was like a circle, like a flaming circle. And in the middle of the circle, I just saw Ephesians 4 and 5. And so I said, okay, this is different. And when I woke up, I went to Ephesians 4 and 5 and I read it. And it just said one Lord, one faith, one baptism. And I said, that's interesting. So I took a deeper dive into it to see what God was trying to show me. And when I started looking at the entire chapter, Ephesians chapter 4, I saw where God was pointing and showing me the importance of the body of Christ being unified. Ephesians chapter 4, and I'm actually go to it real quick, read ESV. So in Ephesians chapter 4, it talks about the unity in the body of Christ. Paul writes this letter to the church at Ephesus, and he says, I, therefore, a prisoner for the Lord, urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and great gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. There is one body, one Spirit, just as you were called to the one hope that belongs to your call, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father above all, who is over all, and through all and in all. But grace was given to each of us according to the measure of Christ's gift. I remember when I first started OneFaith, it was like one Lord, one faith, one baptism. And then I had a friend that said, one band, one sound.
One band, one sound.
Anyways, the Lord showed me that. And then when I started seeing unity in the body of Christ, the Lord started showing me all the areas of disunity that is currently present in the body of Christ. More specifically, in the church, in the Big C church. One of the issues that I have, really, to be honest with you, with Sunday morning services is that we are so uniquely diverse, meaning that we have, I only say diverse, segregated. It's kind of like we've gotten into our own little silos and reasons why we worship God the way we do and whatever and whatnot, which I understand. We can get into all the semantics and all the theology behind everything and understand at a deeper level why these things happen. But, for me, it was really just seeing that, why is it that we are all separated, but we're all worshiping the same God, and God requires or desires for us to be united, to be in unity. And that's the biggest thing that I struggled with. The opportunity came for me to actually start a radio show. Shout out to my co-host. He had a radio show. He started his radio show first, then I started mine. We started our radio show. He was like, okay, I don't know what to do. The guy was like, giving me the rundown. It was like, what your show is going to be about? And I'm like, I don't know. It was like, well, think of it fast. I only had like 10, 15 minutes to think of it. And so I started with like, because I only had like a 30-minute slot. And I was like, 30 minutes of T. That's the only thing I could think about because my name is TJ. Everybody call me T. And I was like, well, 30 minutes of T. And it was kind of like a play on like, T, like, you get the T, all that good stuff. But I remember that I didn't want to have a platform that was messy. I didn't want a platform that talked about gossip, that wasn't a gossiping platform. I wanted a platform that glorified God in a way that showed that, yes, there's a lot going on in the body of Christ, but I refuse to talk about it in a way to add more fuel to the fire that is going on, if you get what I'm saying. I prayed about that thing and I thought about it. I was like, I don't want a platform that sounds messy. I don't want a platform that is messy. I don't want a platform that just talks about crap that goes on in the church. I don't want that. I want a platform that glorifies God, that shows that God is glorified in the midst of it all. I want a platform that shows that there can be unity in the body of Christ if we all come together. The Lord brought back to me that dream that I had of OneFaith. Because initially, I'll be completely honest and transparent with you all. So OneFaith is a bigger vision and a bigger idea from what God gave me. What God gave me with OneFaith, I only shared this with like maybe one or two people. And what God gave me with OneFaith was the idea of having honestly, a radio station that would play both contemporary gospel or CCM for people that love it, and actually gospel music. And the intent behind that is because I feel like we sing about the same Jesus. Black folk do it one way, white folk do it one way. And I understand that there are so many nuances and the reasons why, we can't, whatever. But I feel like those are really mandated or man-made excuses. It's not God-made excuses. It's not God in the midst of it. A lot of sin has separated us. And so that was the initial, I would say, plan for it to become a podcast, go to a radio station, become an actual radio station, OneFaith Radio, to where it would grow from there. The vision for having a radio station has never left. Let me be honest with that. Let me be full transparent with that. That has never left. I still pray and believe God that he will allow for that to happen. And to be honest with you, like I literally just had that, the Lord just brought that to my heart, to my thought recently, that's something that keep my finger on that. We decided then, it was like, you know what, the radio show, each of us having our own radio show, just ain't working for us. We would rather come together and do something great. And so what we ended up doing was we did exactly just that. I did some solo episodes by myself, really just, me, just shooting the breeze and doing whatever. But when it got to the point where I was like, all right, I think that we could do something together. We both sat down, came together, came up with a drawing plan, came up with what we were going to do, talk about how we were going to do it. And we launched it. We relaunched OneFaith with just me and Marcus, and we would go live stream a lot of our content all the time during the pandemic because, obviously we couldn't be together. Nobody could be together during the pandemic. So we launched and we did our thing. And so it came to the place where I would say maybe a couple years ago, we took a year hiatus. It wasn't intentional, but we took a year break. And after we came back, we did some more episodes and some things like that. The goal for OneFaith has always been to continue to push forth the agenda, the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's always been to do the work of the ministry. This platform has never been a platform to be messy, to be talking about people, to be talking about churches, to be talking about pastors, to be talking about leaders, to be talking about all these different things. No, we talk about topics. We talk about things that the Lord put on our heart to talk about. And a lot of the times, I'll give you insight. A lot of the times when we're discussing something, it's literally something that we had just discussed right there. A lot of the topics that we come up with has been spirit-led topics, meaning that they've been, or spirit-inspired topics, meaning that we have a conversation, and within the conversation, it just comes, and we're like, all right, let's just dive into it. A lot of what you see is the connection between me and my co-host, and that's how we do things. I've transitioned a lot of that to the different guests and stuff that I bring in, largely because I love having people and interviewing with people. I feel like that helps me to, kind of come out of my shell. But I've done solo episodes before. I don't like doing solo episodes because I feel like I'm talking to myself like I am right now, and it's weird. I do it because I think what God has to say is very important and is very key to what he would like for his people to know. So if you love what we're doing here with OneFaith, I want to encourage you to, stay connected with us on all platforms. You can follow us at We Are OneFaith on all social media platforms. You can also continue to watch us on YouTube. Go back and look at all of our old stuff. I do not recommend it. It was trash.